Eren Yeager cannot be committed of war crimes. Not only are his crimes not even considered war crimes, but many of which are completely justified. And those that aren't, he will likely never be committed of. Welcome, anime lovers, and I'm that anime theorist, Jordan. Do you remember all the TikToks and Reels a while back about defending Eren Yeager? Lawyers and students even went on to create papers on the topic, to which I am still desperately trying to get my hands on. The clips may have their own comedic intentions, but the theme remains rather consistent. I'm ready to defend Eren Yeager's crimes at all costs. But more importantly, and what we'll be focusing on today, the official defense of Eren Yeager's war crimes.
What did he say?
Eren may have committed a lot of crimes. And when I mean a lot of crimes, I mean a lot of crimes. Most notably, the Rumbling, which, spoiler alert, kills over 80% of the world's population. Now, I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself before we can discuss why our favorite anti-hero Eren Yeager has not committed any war crimes. We must first provide insight into Attack on Titan for those who are not familiar. And for those who have not seen Attack on Titan, I urge you to watch it, as some mind-bending and somewhat inaccurate spoilers are ahead. Let's quickly speed through this as there's way too much to cover. Essentially, Titans are giant babies that eat people. Eren hates Titans. Eren fights the Titans so much that he accidentally turns into a Titan. But he can control it? Turns out his dad gave him the ability to turn into a Titan when he was 5 by letting him eat him. Eren wants to see the ocean so bad he fights all the other people who can control Titans, or essentially Mecha Titans. And after he gets to the ocean, he learns that the whole world essentially hates him and everyone else on the island. So much, in fact, that they have been turning people into Titans and sending them to Eren's home, Paradis. So what does Eren do? Now, let's examine the crimes Eren has committed and prove once and for all he is not a war criminal. With that, there are crimes that Eren has committed that do not qualify as war crimes. Now, the identity of a war crime was initially defined in the Howe Conventions to prohibit warring parties from using certain means and methods of warfare. Initially, it encompassed many of the crimes you would imagine Vikings committing, such as pillaging or looting. Now, the Geneva Conventions later added in addendum additional protections for those who were not taking part in hostile activity. Mr. Yeager, it's not looking good for you. War crimes are officially defined in the Rome Statute of the Criminal Court using both the Howe and Geneva Conventions. If you commit a war crime, the International Criminal Court, or the ICC, will come at you saying that you have committed a crime. Now, let's review some of Eren's crimes.
Mass destruction, Homicide, conspiracy, genocide, blackmailing, kidnapping, phew.
Okay, I cannot keep that going. Not because I physically can't, but more because I ran out of rhymes. Terrorism, identity fraud, crimes against peace, psychological abuse. That's not bad. Regardless, the list is as follows. Among these crimes, only these specifically would qualify as war crimes, which is not saying much because this still is a laundry list worth of crimes. Unfortunately, we cannot even decrease this list to exclusively international crimes, as the Rome Statute covers both international and non-international crimes. So you're not getting off the hook that easy, Eren. Now, some of these crimes do come in with defenses built in. Article 8, paragraph B, subparagraph 1 states for international conflicts that one of the war crimes you can commit is intentionally directing attacks against civilian objects. That is, objects that are not military objectives. Notice that last piece. Not military objectives. Key distinctions like these are what we are going to be able to use to get Eren out of some war crimes. Of the war crimes we can defend include attacking civilians, civilian objects, civilian environment, undefended towns, or enemy property. One specific event encompasses most of these crimes, and I'm sure you know it. The attack on Marley. Oh, what'd you think I was going to say? Oh, the Rumbling? Oh, yeah. We gotta build to that one. Anyway, to defend any of these actions, you need to support that military rationale for the decision outweighs the crime. And military rationale can be broken down into 4 parts. Military necessity, Was the actions used to gain a military advantage? Proportionality. Did the advantage outweigh the loss of life or property? Distinction. Was the area attacked militarized? And finally, prevention of necessary suffering. Was the life lost kept to a minimal? We can easily break down the Marley attacks into 3 separate events that took part on Eren's behalf. 1. An initial strike on Willie Tiber, a potential owner of the Warhammer Titan, which is one of the 9 most powerful Titans in the world. 2. Dive bombing into the crowd. And 3. Securing the Warhammer Titan. To provide background on the event, Eren, through false pretenses, invited Rhina to a meeting. In an attempt to kill both Rhina, the armored Titan, and Willie, Eren destroys part of an apartment building, but successfully kills Willie, and, in this case, traps Rhina. Eren then WWEs himself into a group of dignitaries, not only to declare war on additional countries, but to destabilize Marley as a nation. Within the crowd of dignitaries, Eren additionally killed 2 armored Titan candidates and later captured another 2. Finally, Eren caps it off by engaging in combat with a slew of Titans, managing to steal the power of the Warhammer before his escape. Well, I think it's time to break it down. Military necessity. Eren officially declared war to both Rhina and most of Marley after attacking Willie, allowing him to attack and destabilize their government and other military efforts. Proportionality. While many lives were lost, Eren did so in a way to strategically limit Marley's military capabilities, giving him time to prepare for future military efforts. While the lives lost were immense, the proportion lost was less than the military advantage gained. Distinction. The area was under guard of 5 of the 9 most powerful Titans aligned with a standard military protection. Prevention of unnecessary suffering. When going to eat Willie Tiber, Eren made one solid movement in order to stand. We can see only the area he transformed and stood was affected, which in the case of using Titans is quite effective. He then directed his attack at military leaders in the stands, not to public or media. And this trend continues, displaying Eren's control in his Titan form, limiting his attacks to only those of meaning. Even if we had attempted to defend more of Eren's actions, there are actions that qualify as war crimes no matter how you look at them. Stuff like how Eren was even able to get into Marley. Improper use of an enemy's military uniform is a war crime with no exception. Declaring war with no mercy is also a war crime with no exception. Or just straight up existing in war. I'm only partially joking, because the use of basic Titans, reacting only on impulse, is a war crime, as they cause unnecessary suffering. But I said we can get Eren out of being committed of war crimes. And we can. When the International Criminal Court deems an individual of a war crime, they can accuse the person and issue a warrant for their arrest. The problem is, it's the state's responsibility to bring the individual in for their war crimes. Military leaders or heads of state almost never get committed for these crimes. Given the most recent episode, the likelihood Eren gets accused, committed, and charged within his lifetime is unlikely. He could potentially get charged after he passes, given their warrants have no time limits, but it seems like Paradis will refuse to let Eren get committed. This helps to bolster their military's reputation and overall bring prowess to their nation as a whole. And that's how you get someone out of war crimes. I hope you enjoyed this theory. If you like this, check out my other theory on how fast Toji Fushiguro really is. Thanks for watching, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.